Stop it. Hey, good evening, everybody, to the 16th episode of Wow People with me, Kelli Sae. And if I seem a little low-key, it's because it's 2 a.m. I'm here in Vienna, Austria, performing some shows with Count Basic and promoting our new record, Come Over. But, I didn't want to leave you out there in the lurch. And Sophia is going to be working with us backstage today because it's late. And she just said, you know what, Kelli, I have better things to do. I'm kidding. She did not say that. But last week's guest was incredible, and it was Valerie Gent. And any of you guys who tuned in, many of you did. Thank you so much for all of your DMs and all of your follows and subscriptions. It was amazing. But tonight, our guest is like a true Renaissance man, and from acting to being a musician to being a screenwriter and a director and just an awesome kick-ass person. I want you, in case you don't know already, to meet my really good friend and amazing, talented person, Mr. John E. Edwards. So without further ado, here he is.
Dope graphics, damn surprise.
Oh my goodness. Do you get all the people clapping for you?
Man, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh my God. You know what though? This is such a treat for me. I mean, and for anyone else who's going to see this later or watching it now with us, because you're truly a Renaissance man. I know a few Renaissance men, but at the top of the list is definitely you're the one that comes to mind. All the wonderful things that you've done over the years. I've known you for a really, really long time and have just watched your career blossom and do amazing things. And I don't want to tell your story. Only you can tell it, the best. So I know that you're from LA. Let's just start from there and go on.
Yeah, well, I grew up my parents are from the Deep South, the Bayou, and also from Austin, Texas. So I'm a pure Southern boy, and my brothers and my cousins, we were the first of our family that wasn't born in the South. So we grew up on soul food. We grew up on gumbo, etouffee. We didn't really have white people food in our house. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, when I went to school, I couldn't believe that these people were eating Wonder Bread. And I came home because I ate 3 of my meals was cornbread. I ate it for breakfast, I ate it for lunch, and I ate it for dinner. I thought that was my grandmother's job, was making cornbread. I thought that's what she did as a vocation.
Did you put butter on it?
We put butter. My grandfather had with buttermilk, and I would have it with milk, and that would be our cereal. And then, but it was just soul food. We just soul people. My parents were not big. I mean, we were 100% soul extraordinaire. We didn't have really none of the white people shit going on in our household. And when I went out in the public in our first years, I couldn't believe that they were eating this shit. I was like, man, this shit.
Will say, oh, that's why you like that?
I just couldn't believe that they had bread that didn't taste like anything. It was like air. And they were, having, what do you call it, fish fingers or whatever. It was just
fish sticks.
Fish sticks. I'm like, man, how are these people living off of this? This shit tastes terrible. I mean, it was horrible. I never wanted to be a part of that. I'm like, I couldn't wait to get home. It's like, what? They ain't got no flavor. There's no salt on it. They didn't season it. why? I mean, how are people gonna live? I was like, Mom, I don't know if I want to go to school if they feeding us like this.
So what do you eat now? What's like a John E. like daily like
Well,
meal?
today I had a prosciutto sandwich, but I mix it with fish. I eat a lot of Latin food because of my neighborhood. You know, I'm in the East Village, and I cook. You know, but I'm definitely, I mean, right now because of COVID, it's crazy because you can't eat. And where I live, when I came here, it was like kind of the people's neighborhood, but now it's nothing but rich people. And I mean, the crazy thing is I'm probably the only black person that ever had their name on a lease in my building. And I've been here for many years, though I lived other places. And so now the landlords don't even mess with me because I go into, my lawyers talk about, civil suits and, you know what I mean? I got them over a barrel,
So how did you get from LA, and then I know you moved to New York and London, and
right.
how did that all transpire?
Well, I had an uncle, Bill Hudson, the abstract artist. Shout out to him. He's a artist laureate in Franklin Marshall. Great artist. So I had an uncle here, and my parents thought I was going to take a year out of college and go see the world, because I got cousins in London, and we traveled always. My family, like actually my central family don't even live in Los Angeles anymore. Like we were there to get our money right. And after we got our money good, we rolled out. We never thought of that as home. We carried around the Southern tradition wherever we went. And we carried around, like the love of family. And, still my best friend is my brother. And we were just a very Southern family. My grandparents, they lived to be 105 and 103. And
Wow.
yeah. And there, R.B. Johnson is my grandfather. And, prominent educators of Black culture, like very prominent. Their whole life, my mother's life was the same. It was dedicated.
You have two brothers, right? You have two brothers?
I got two brothers. I did. I have one that passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
That's all right. I didn't know him that well.
You were telling me just before we got on, you had me cracking up because you were telling me about your mom and how she never liked any doors to be locked.
Yeah, she didn't like doors to be locked. They had all these traditions, like if a blackbird came to the window, she'd have to call her sisters and call her mom, like who's dead, all kinds of crazy shit. We had a glowing Sister Maria in the guest room, all kinds of shit. They had tarot cards, like they rocked tarot cards every other weekend. So all my aunts would come over, and they would they had one aunt that was a specialist at it. Her name was Lorraine Duperon, and she was like a priestess in the Catholic Church, but she was also, coming from a Creole culture from the deep South. She was my favorite aunt. I mean, I wear my bliss that she gave me. Like I got bliss on, I got stuff that it's crazy, how if you care about your culture, like sometimes I'll be playing a prisoner in a prison scene, and I've never taken this shit off since they gave me this.
But I wanted to ask you that about how your culture and how you grew up.
Look, I mean, this shit can't go off. I've never taken it off.
Wow. So that's what I'm asking you. How all of this plays into your artistry as a musician and as an actor. Or how do you take all your cultures and put it together with your artistry?
I just come with my A game. And there's certain shit I'm not doing. Like, they have to tape down. If I'm playing, you're supposed to have no jewelry on. And if they got me, in a scene where there's no jewelry in prison, they got to take my shit down. they're like, oh, Johnny, no, you need to take it off. You know how you get bossed around on a movie set? I'm like, nah, you got your religion. You got to take the shit down. I'm not taking the shit off, man. I might get, I might have lightning strike me or something, man. This shit's protecting me all over the world.
Yes.
I mean, I get on planes. I mean, it's my bliss.
So do you consider yourself superstitious?
I would, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
If I mean, growing up in LA, man, you saw a lot of humane relationships based on success and how that turns you. So I would be a kid and I go to a party with my cousin or with my brother, and it'd be like, in the Hollywood Hills. And I could see like, okay, this shit is evil up in here. You know what I'm saying? I could see it in the face of the person talking to me that they're really on some, not good energy. And, I mean, we could always see that, and because we were always honest, and I grew up in a very honest family, very honest, you know what I'm saying? So it's like honesty was the main thing. If I got in trouble, I would run home. If I met a girl, I'd go and take her to see my mom. I wasn't running for nothing. Yeah. You got it. That's how I was raised, man. Anything that I mean, when I see the blockage that people have in terms of their creativity or the issues that they have, I'm like, wow, that seems messed up, because I could bring any problem,
Yes. There's a lot of evil though. Like, I don't want to say evil, but yeah, okay, evil. There's a lot of
Hollywood is very
negativity. Yeah,
and a lot of Hollywood. You were living
even today. Yeah, but even today, like, just we're innocent in that when I'd like to believe, I know that I am, and I think you are too. When we're creating art, I know we're doing it from the most honest place, from an organic, honest, true place within ourselves, right? And then you put what you do out into the world, and then you get like a barrage of,
Right. No, but I mean, when you are trained that's going to happen, it's a whole nother thing. Like, I could understand how you can be a confused person if you can't go home with your problems. If you can't say to your dad or your mom, yo, I just fucked up. I just, I've done some real bad shit, and you're going to get a call from the principal, in a few minutes. I ran, and they would be like, okay, well, we got to deal with it.
Right.
I was getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? When I found out that I could use the 14s, I could rock my boots and my shoes, and I got bigger feet than everybody. I got bigger hands. I was like, shit, man. Like, yo.
Right.
Well,
like, let's talk about, we could talk about so many things, but I don't want this to end without us discussing Troubled Waters and about the musical revival and all those things, because these are some really amazing things we're doing. I want to make sure we touch on these topics.
Yeah. So I wrote partly with Danny Green and with me. We wrote a movie for Harry Lennox. We had met him in Atlanta when we were doing the first Stump the Yard, and he was in it, and we loved him, and I looked at him as like Cary Grant, but for people of color, as a great actor. He's a really fantastic actor. And I said, yo, man, we need to write something for him. And then we had never really used choir. We didn't know how the money was going to come, but we wrote it, and I would go back and forth to Hollywood, and then we negotiated with CAA, and we had some investors. We got some investors out of Chicago, Munir Muhammad. We got investors from different places that were like down with Harry. And then we got Robert Patrick, and Robert, he knew this is what's crazy. He knew the sound man, and we didn't really have the money to pay Robert. But the sound man said, yo, these two brothers are cool. So his agent actually said he wasn't going to do it to our lawyer, that Robert wasn't going to do it. So I'm about to get on the plane and go back to New York. And I got a call from the agent to say, no, Robert didn't say he wasn't going to do it. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, to be honest, you just sent us an email last night saying that he wasn't going to do it. He was like, no, I didn't mean that. Robert called me himself and he said, yo, don't listen to these people anymore. Talk to me or talk to one of his homeboys. No more talking to these dudes. And then everybody came in. Like, that's how we got Tatum O'Neal. That's how we got Richard Brooks. We got everybody, you know. And then it's funny because of the agency, the biggest agency, they went from like not really getting down with me to giving a reading and paying for everything. And I met like 10 agents. They were lined up like this was like Knights of the Round Table. And it's like, 72 hours before, I was a dead man in the water. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the better you doing, the more they on. The more that, and that's one of the reasons I live in New York. Because I work for every studio. I work for 5 studios, you know. And I know they were going to train me to be a producer for them. And I loved it because I was like the only homeboy. Like, we had a bunch of fake hip hop white boys with baggy clothes that were living in Beverly Hills on some fake shit. So when they get the real dude in the mix, of course they want reality and, realness over like this kid that's actually a trust fund kid rocking around like he's Pretty Boy Floyd, you know? But then I realized, damn, if they fire me, I'm gonna be out here in the cold sun, hot sun, watching Bentleys and Ferraris drive by me, assed out. I'd rather be in New York and be in the world. Like, I live in New York. I've been in New York since I was 19, 18 years old. And my parents traveled, so I was in Chicago in the summer. I traveled all my life, so that's not a big issue. But I realized that, man, New York is me. You can have a partner, man, that's the hardest cat in the neighborhood. He's an Asian dude. You know what I mean? You got to work with people. You can be around a Muslim that's your best friend, and he's following his rules, and he's got his own feelings, but he's my dude. You know what I'm saying? And New York gives you that. It's like a melting pot. It's the only melting pot I know in America. That's what I'm saying. When I go down south, everybody's scared of each other. Like that, the George Floyd shit that went down. So we made a movie that's we made a movie that's international, the multicultural people, people from all over the world, different colors, because I see the world like that. Like, I spend a lot of my time in growing up or in my early years going to Europe. So I could see, how it's going to change. By the time when I first got to Europe, it was like usually a white lady and an African dude. You know what I'm saying? And but then when I would go back, it would start getting blended. Start being like there was like black Englishmen for real, black Frenchmen for real. That what they know. That's where they are. That's where they come from. It wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, if I live in New York, I can be in the middle where I can get to London in 6 hours, and I can get to LA in 6 hours. It worked out for me. I ended up messed up when I would fly to Germany from LA. It'd be like 15 hours. I couldn't walk. Yeah, I couldn't walk. I'm like messed up. I'm like, damn, man, I really need to get back to New York, man. I can't be, if I got something to do over in Europe, man, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hurting, man. You know, I'm a big dude, so I'm like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right. So
So
can we talk a little bit about the music revival?
yeah, it's a Harry wrote that, and
Yeah.
it's a big musical. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's like one of the most crazy, incredibly big musical based on Jesus Christ revival.
Hmm.
And it stars Michelle Williams, Oba Babatunji, Harry Lennox. Um, like, I mean, there's 50 stars in it. And
Wow.
so they called me, and I'm not a religious dude, but they called me to produce it. So I was out there, man, and we shot it. It's like, I mean, you can see it on Amazon Prime, or you can see it on Revival the Movie
Mm-hmm.
.com. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a musical. It's really incredible. And you know, I mean, I ended up you know, it's won some awards. You know, won major awards, and we went all around the country. And I got to meet a lot of reverends, a lot of preachers, and you know, I didn't know that now there's two chairs for the preacher and what's the first lady. It's crazy. And I mean, it's
Oh.
the tightest bands I've ever seen are bands in church. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the church bands out of since Chicago and Detroit, they play all day. And then when
Mm-hmm.
they get their feelings, you know, they rocking out. Like, you know, they on some Chuck Berry, Little Richard thing. And, you know, of course, because they all love hair, and so they put some extra juice in their shit. I was looking at 40-piece bands. They put the
Right.
juice on us, and because we were going from church to church, they were tripping because they didn't want us to go to the next church. So
Mm.
we'd have to leave while they bouncing because they were trying to freeze out the other churches. And the crazy
Mm-hmm.
shit, they had a big bucket. Like I'm used to, you know, I don't go to church. I go to St. Patrick's, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
then I say my prayers and I roll out. But I don't really do, man, now it's such they got buckets. Like I'm talking about paint buckets. Shit that paints,
Wow.
they bring out buckets now. Biggest hustle in the world. No taxes. We
Yeah.
cast rocking 3 Bentleys and a poodle. You know what I'm saying? Furred up. Yeah, furred up. So, you know, they brought me in. But while we were shooting it, we got Shaka Khan in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got like 50 stars. But what I loved it because I got to go to Cali with a little juice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
you know,
But
that's my point. You know, I came in juiced up. So because it's a black movie, everybody was on top of me. They were like, "Oh, Jay, you know, all these stars were rolling up with me, and it was winter, so you know, I had my fleece on, and you know, my chapeau, and I'm like, damn, man, this is option. I'm on. You have me in an apartment. I'm like, yo, but then you know, when you get into the mix, I hired all my cousins.
mm-hmm.
I hired 5 of my cousins. It was really a Johnny Edwards production. You know, generally it's a Johnny Edwards production, you know.
But wait, but let's not overlook that you had a movie made about your life.
Yeah,
And that won many awards too.
yeah, 20,
That was
25 around the
phenomenal.
world. Yeah,
And can you tell people
it's an
about that?
underground hit. It's a real
Yes.
underground hit. I mean, it was crazy because we were doing all these festivals for a year around the world, and I was playing them.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids that were driving us around are usually the film festival interns and stuff. And because we were, you know, we weren't like the normal raggedy, busted, you know. My boy that executive produced it had just struck it rich. He had just sold his company. So me and him were rolling hard. And the directors are pretty well known. Chris Bradley, Kyle Labash, like they're still very famous and very renowned for their work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just gliding.
Mm-hmm.
I was partying, doing a concert. I played with some Indians. I did La Bamba with some Mexicans. You know, I was wherever I wanted to be. And because we had flush with money, I could do whatever. So, but it started as a 3-day thing. I went to LA to do a concert, and they knew my family. They knew my mother, my father, my aunts, and they could not really believe that with the like, you know, our culture, we're not always told about how close you can be for the decades, you know, the generations. So white people were amazed. They were like, Mrs. Edwards, because my mom was like, yo, if you want to spend the night, I'll have the maid pull out of bed for you. You good. You got enough money? What do you need? You want some of this fried fish? You know, we went over to Uncle Joe's and they broke up. You know, we can put in some, you know, I know you ain't eating right over there, all white. You ain't eating no good food. So they turned that shit into 3 years. It went from 3 days to 3 years, and it won South by Southwest.
Wow.
A best documentary, and we just were rolling.
Where can people see that now?
You could see it through Chris Bradley's YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I mean, let me see, man. I mean, yeah, I've had a hard time with it because it went into bigger hands, and they kind of sold me down the river, and they went on to make like wet t-shirt TV shows. That went bankrupt. But you know how it's just like, okay, Little Richard wrote Bebop and Lubop. You know what I'm saying? He wrote all these songs, yet Pat Boone is the one that's got the mansion over in Beverly Hills with his corny ass shit. So they kind of did that shit to me. But you know, yeah, you know, like they went into like, you know, racing cars and shit. I mean, they don't exist anymore. So, you know, karma's a bitch. But, you know, it's just like, yo, you just got to go with the punches. You know, I mean, I've actually become a Renaissance man by accident. I had no alternative. Yeah. I remember when it was messed up and I was parking car. I was doing parking for TV shows. But, you know, somebody saw something in me. And at that time, I was playing Nels. I was a house band over there. Like when I was rolling with you. And I mean, I rolled with you over CBGB's. And then I realized that I'm not going to make no money. And then I became Johnny Edwards. I was the Uptown Atomics. And I said, yo, man, you know, let me get with Fred Cash. And then all of a sudden, man, you know, the only cats that were paying me were like the guys over at the Pyramid, like RuPaul and them.
Yeah, but you always had something special in your performances, even way back then. In those days, you always had and that's the special thing that people talk about. That there's just something that you have when you're performing that draws the eyes and the ears to you because it's magnetic what you have. So that's a special gift, and it's
right. Yeah, but that's from God.
Yes, and that's is from really, God. But you're in touch with it because you're doing it. So you're there.
Yeah, you know, a lot of this shit, man. You know, I know that everybody can. Most people can out-sing me, and I knew that most people can. They have more discipline than me, but somehow when I work, the people feel me. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, it's just like
it's a
magical thing.
But people feel, I'm always saying this. I say this to some of my vocal students too all the time. It's not always about the perfect notes. It's about the emotion that comes through, that when you feel it and you're real with it, people feel that. People can feel inauthenticity, and they can feel like when something's organic and not, you know, that kind of thing.
Right. Well, I mean, I always, even when I was 15 years old and playing bass with Arthur Lee, I was a man of the people. You know, they know. People know. I play with you know, Latin people. Everybody's got love. You know, I don't know if you went to Europe with us. Did you go with that tour?
I was there.
So I'm like, okay, you cats are playing why you gonna mess with Curtis Mayfield like that? With a guitar solo in the middle. I would play some Elvis Presley on him. And I'm gonna rock everybody.
Right.
It would piss.
Right.
The girls in the BRC always had love for me. The brothers, because I am.
I don't know about that.
Maybe
okay.
John Paul. Me and John Paul.
I don't know about that. But before, I don't want to. We're going to run out of time shortly. But I want to talk about, because we were touching on it earlier when we did our sound check, and we touched on the COVID and about the vaccine and how, some people don't want to have the vaccine and things like that. And I wanted to know your views, about that. How you
my thing is like, because I've had, at a young age, I had ill parents, and I could see how science and medicine can give you a longer life based on you know what I'm saying? Science and medicine can save your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you continue to not involve yourself in that, well, then you're missing out. But what's happening is now they've locked up New York. They can't, you can't get in without one,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't even know how to monitor it. That you can make it in your yard, it's just some signature. It's not like been made like a license, or, what I'm saying? Like, it's not a solid thing.
Like here, the way it is here. I'm here in Vienna, and every time I've gone to, well, first of all, even to stay in this hotel, I wasn't allowed to stay here until I showed my vaccination card. I wasn't allowed to go into a restaurant until I showed my vaccination card. I wasn't allowed to, fly here without having it. It was, it's very intense, and they're far more ahead in terms of I'm walking around with a card stuck to my passport, but the way they have it here, it's so already advanced. They have a special app for it.
Right.
With their full identification on it. So there's no like pretending that you're somebody that you're not or any of that, so it's really done in a way that is very efficient, and, and it just makes it easier for everybody to go ahead. And, the other thing is they sell the tests in the pharmacy. You can go ahead and buy the tests and COVID test yourself as many times as you want, as many times a week as you want to do so. You don't need prescription to do so or anything like that, and it's just way advanced in the way things are prepared.
Right. You know what? That's all I'm saying. It's not a political problem. It's a medical problem. Do you care about your brother man? Do you care about, do you really care about other people? You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line. I mean, there's really no other discussion. Like, you can't be in the world if you can make people sick. You understand? Like, that's not really cool. No matter what your political affiliation is, And it's just like, we want to make the world a better place. We want to be able to go out. We want to be able to go inside,
Mm-hmm.
And now, this is something that we've never dealt with in our life.
Right.
And, I'm trying to sell records. You know what I'm saying? I'm like ready to hit the road,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, man. It's wonderful because you're an international star. So you as an international star, you're allowed these outlets. But, I know a lot of people that don't have that operation, and what are they going to do to make money? Thank God I got the movies,
Will is saying we're a worldwide experiment that we will only know the effects years later. You trust them?
I don't know, because they gave us an end around again. They told us to take them off, and now they got us putting them back on. I don't really trust stuff. I just got to go with the feeling of what I want to do as being a human, as a humane person. You don't want to bring, anything to other people, especially children. People have children, and you want to be a good person. You want to be in the world, like you're saying, you know.
Yeah, I got the vaccine, and the worst that's I did lose a couple of teeth in the back of my mouth, but other than that, I'm fine. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I got it, but I'm so seasoned. Wow. No, you didn't. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is you still like the same beautiful girl I met so many years ago. And I'm like, man, I don't know, man. You got that Mandingo juice. You know?
I don't know what that is, but thank you. I'll take it. I'll take some Mandingo juice.
Yeah, you know, and that's what, you know, that's what's crazy. And I always knew that you were going to be able to move in multiple atmospheres. You know, I know you were rolling with Ray Chu. You've been where people look for you to be in the mix, you know, which I love about you. You're a mixed girl. And I've always been just, you know, me, which is like, I'm a New York boy, you know. I mean, I really did come up with hip hop. I mean, I didn't really have any of my adulthood in Hollywood. I didn't really like it there.
Right.
And I would have gotten in trouble there. You know, all my boys I came up with, they ended up in illegal activity. And I was never going to be, I was a bad criminal. I was a work man. I was at 13. They actually were doing a thing. They took my ass home to my mom. They were like, nah, man, we all belonged. Saved my life.
Yeah.
Saved my life. They were like, man, you are no good at this, man. You're shaking and you're sweating. They were like, man, we all going to jail if Johnny's still in.
You're funny. You're fun. I mean, I'm a New Yorker. I'm born and raised there, born in Manhattan, been there my whole life. But I think through traveling the world and being a musician has afforded me, you know, different opportunities that I'm so grateful for, that I'm able to take into my life and share with other people, and I'm really grateful for all that.
Well, you know, the crazy thing about you would have been a leader of a corporate organization. I mean, there was no way you weren't going to be successful. Like, how many people are you playing for tomorrow?
Oh, you're funny. I'm several hundred.
5,000, 10,000.
I mean, it's a very kind of exclusive, private thing, and so I'm really happy to do it. It's like a kind of it's sold out, and it's very like kind of exclusive, kind of like taste makery kind of thing.
Well, so Austria is straight up a snickety. You know, Austria is like the whole vibe there. They don't have any non-fly shit.
It is. It's such a beautiful city, and I will never take it for granted again. You know, I was practically living here and here so much of my life, and so that I just can't, you know, like I'm here now, and I'm just like, I don't know, I can't turn my computer around, but I can see the night skyline and the whole, and it's 2:40 in the morning, and I'm just like
talking to Johnny Edwards.
Yeah, and all these wonderful people here. So I just want to acknowledge everybody.
I love you for that, man. And I like hanging with you. I always did. I was always like, yo, you know.
We'll do it more. I just want to acknowledge our viewers.
I mean, you want me to give you the information on where they can find the movies and?
Yes, I'm gonna get to that just after I want to acknowledge everybody who's watching us right now. I want to thank them for being here with us tonight to, you know, listen to us and chat with us and hang with us. I want to thank Morris and DJ Drez, and Will, and Valerie, and Tour Dog, and Harren, and of course Sophia, who's in the backstage helping, and G, and anybody else who watched this later on as well, and KC. Anybody else I might have missed, and just everybody for supporting what I'm doing and trying to bring to you every single week.
Well, it's
new and interesting people that I think are phenomenal and who have definitely impacted my life in one way or another. I'm so grateful for that. So with that, before we leave you, I do want Johnny to, I want if Sophia can put up where, you know, they can follow you on your socials, and then you could also let them know all the things that you have coming out, what's coming up next for you. And then I'll tell everybody after that who's up next week, who our special guest will be.
Well, yo, you know, I wish we could have dinner afterwards, but I know you probably
Oh,
going to get.
that'll be amazing.
Oh my God! But I know you're going to get that. They got a real nice caviar. They got the Russian black caviar. So
I love caviar.
yeah, well, they got it in
I
Austria.
shouldn't be saying that, but I love it.
They got it in Austria.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, bro, have a scoop of that. I'll
Yeah.
give
Hey,
you money.
Larry. Yeah, so tell everybody. And I'm gonna be back in New York by the weekend. So we can meet up next week.
I love it, man. You gotta come to East Village, you know.
I know how to get there. I have a car.
And yo, I got a car too. It's crazy. I always had a car in New York. I'm the last guy with a car. It's what's crazy is because while we have good weather, the restaurants outside here are beautiful. They're really nice. You know, it's a very nice. I mean, I know we have gentrification, but the sad thing is I'm still hanging in, and I mean, I want everybody to have opportunities. So I'm not mad about the pasta down the street. I'm not mad the beluga that's around the corner. I'm not mad about that. You know, I like the salmon rolls and all that. I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So tell everybody, come on, before we run out of time, let's
all right, yeah, man. I got my movie is Troubled Waters. It's on BET Plus, and it's a beautiful movie starring Harry Lennox, Tatum O'Neal, Robert Patrick, Richard Brooks, Rick Fox, Gina Torres, and a galaxy of stars. The other movie we have on Amazon Plus, Amazon Premium, is called The Revival. It's a national movie that's a musical, and it's probably the first of its kind in the history of African American filmmaking. I also got a new album out called Continental International. And this is the cover. You can download it. It's you know, this is what I'm kicking. And so that's available. And, you know, just support artists, you know. I mean, there's a lot of businessmen, and I'm happy for them, and I wish the best for them. But there's also a lot of artists that need to be supported whatever way. And really, the third world situation is going crazy. And just be kind to people if you can. And, you know, I mean, there's like a lot of crazy things that are done that need to be resolved, and you have to love people. You know, that's my whole point. Like, I hope I'm really open to the differences in people. And thank God for my family, because they made, if you're different than us, it makes you interesting. It's not somebody you don't want to be mad at somebody that's different. You want to learn about what they eat, their culture, how they get down. That's what makes you interesting. And for you and me, man, we energize off of differences. That's one of the things that makes us, like, you know, love each other. We get energy from the differences, because they really never heard soul music until Kelli Sae sings it. Well, they might have heard it, but they never heard your rendition.
Thank you. Thank you. But you know what? And you're right about that, about supporting. And that's exactly why I do this every single week, week after week. This is what I do. And I don't want anything from anybody. I'm not asking to be paid for anything. Do I ask you to give me anything? I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything from. There's no angle, is my point. I have no angle for doing this. My only angle is that I love our art and its different forms. And I'm just trying to introduce people to, you know.
Right. No, it's fun. But, you know, the thing is, I always really cared about you and loved you as a person. I don't remember those days. And
thank you.
I always had even when you know, when we were, I was always like very private dude, except when I performed. You know, if you know me, I would roll out.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't, and it's really, I wish I was more open, but, you know, it's like in the Johnny Edwards is in Love movie, my parents, I never heard my mom talk about me at all. and she said, Johnny, he's a private person. He's alone even when he's in a crowd. His head is alone. I can be with 10,000 people, but it's true, because for me to train myself and to not get criticized so I could grow,
right,
I had to like go into my zone. And
listen, let me just say real quick, critique for where I am and all of my accomplishments and all the things that I've ever done and my awards and blah, blah, blah. I just read something the other day that somebody was like, oh my God, she's a horrible singer. She should find another job. I mean, I read things on a regular basis that are so negative about me that if I were weak in that way and internalize them, all I can do is laugh. I just laugh at that. I think it's hilarious. But I just, but at the same time, if you choose to listen to these kind of things and this negativity, really, you just have to just kind of block it out and go with your love. It's the love that always wins.
I mean, it's so crazy. In the end game, we got cats that got so many levels of we got so many levels of like school talent. Now, I always couldn't even be able to be crazy, because I knew that you could come in on some, opera shit. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fucking murder you. The crowd's gonna go crazy for my whack J Swerve stuff. Like, you could come in all master's degree, you're a doctorate, man, if you come after I play, the room's probably gonna be empty. I'm a killer. Yeah, I've been doing this since I'm 15. I murder people. It's a murder. I kill you. And I just do me. I just rock my grove. But now you coming in, oh yeah, I'm a doctor. My name is, doctor. Man, I would go ahead of me. You remember I used to tell the brothers, because I would come in backstage and I loved you, and I love Martha. I love Mark Bratson's girl, the great singer. Arnett,
I love her.
Yeah, I love all you people. And I would come back and they were like, Jay, you got a beautiful suit on. And remember, I had a what's the cast that carry your clothes? My God, I had a white dude.
Like a butler.
Yeah, like a walking butler. I had one of them with me. I had the whole Johnny Elvis thing going on. So I got my man. So I would go in, and I know it would psych out the other musicians. I would come in to psych everybody out. I would psych them out. So I know the girls understood, because they would be like, Johnny, wow, you look beautiful. I'm like, that ain't even what I'm wearing. Come on, brother, bring on the. And there was a white dude that was Amish. That was my boy. I can't remember his name. And the cat had the black glasses on. But by the time I hit the stage, I had everybody psyched the fuck out. And I would change my suit. I go from one fly thing to the next. It's like I knew the showbiz game.
Yeah, you're always sharp.
Yeah, but I just knew the showbiz game, because I got thrown out of a dressing room by Chuck Berry when I was like 15. Now, you know what I'm saying? I got thrown out, man. I was like, Mr. Berry, I want to tell you how much I respect you and love you. And he was like, man, can you get this kid? He's a mean dude, Chuck Berry. He ain't playing. Like, Otis Blackwell had love for me. Otis brought me in when they were trying to change his songs. They were rocking out on what he had wrote. He was like, man, come over. And he had an old dude that had wore a do-rag backwards, which is how they used to wear it. They didn't wear that shit in the back. They put it in the front like that.
Right.
They were rocking. That's a real gangster shit. the frontal do-rag. So his boy and me, his boy said, yo, Jay, you know, you don't need to be around these dudes. These dudes are messing up my toes. You know what I mean? They want to speed up, you know, don't be cruel. Yo, I want you to play the shit like I wrote it. Like rocking out, don't be cruel. You gotta leave. Sometimes you gotta let the legends breathe in their space.
Right.
They don't want to hear no new shit. That the old shit is what paid them. They 60 years old. They 70 years old. It's like you don't want BB King's not asking you to speed up his groove. You know, play the shit. You know, do the best BB King. You know, that's what I love about the older entertainers. Like, you know, you don't want Frank Sinatra. He don't want nobody to sing a rock version of New York, New York. You know, he's like, I'm walking out. You know, he didn't like the Beatles. First of all, they took his spot, but he thought their hair was crazy. He tried to beat up one of the Beatles. You know what I mean? I'm OG. I'm just OG. I like being around OGs. I love their culture. I can learn from them. You know, I mean, learned how to dress by them. And when things were tough, man, the older women, the older people, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this. Some cat said, I went out with Chuck Berry's daughter in high school. All right, player. All right.
Yeah, me too. No, I'm kidding. I didn't. I believe you, Larry.
Yeah, the tour dog. Who's tour dog?
Yeah.
Is that your boy?
Larry is Joseph Bowie's nephew.
Oh, wow. Yo,
Right?
tell him I'm down with his whole crew. You know, I know all the Bowies. I know they whole. Yeah. I mean, like I said, you know, you probably one of the few you probably one of the few people that in my life that I would gladly talk to. It's not like I'm available.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm glad I can make a living, but you're not going to see me crawling around the floor and, you know, making bad deals. You know, I'm about my people and the world uplifting. Like, I want the best for you. So I don't trust nobody. Right now, it's crazy. I don't trust. Right now, I'm on, you know.
Likewise. Listen, I adore you. We don't have any more
how long we talked? We on an hour.
I know. You know, I love talking to you. I've always loved talking to you. I think you're amazing. I wish you continued success in every avenue, in every project. And I mean, this is not the last of us. You know, we've been friends all these
years. We probably gonna be making records, man, when I get my money.
We're gonna make records and we're gonna make movies together. That's what
well, movies you got. I got you. I got you.
We're gonna do that. And
I got you.
A lot of people don't know that I scored a film a few years ago. They don't know the stuff I'm doing behind the scenes, but I'm ready to move in some other directions now. And
I'm my own boss. I'm my own boss, so I got you. You know,
I got you. So there. Yeah. So before
can I just say one thing? Because I got my producer talking to me. He's been texting me, and he's got a movie called Phonograph. He's got a movie that I'm in, and I mean, a lot of people are in. It's incredible. Phonograph. Damn.
I know what it is. Hold on. I can tell you. I can tell you what it is. It is called. I have it right here.
It's incredible. It's
because I'm a psychic. That's how I got it.
No, but it's Edison's the history of the phonograph.
Yes.
And I did a song for that.
Right. So it is called.
Hold on, I got it. Let me hold on.
Yeah. All right. Well, in the meantime, while he went away, we could just talk about real quick. Next week's special guest is going to be Mr. Kyle Jason, and he has a new release out, and he's super duper talented musician, songwriter, and I can't wait to sit down and talk to him this way. We've never really had this kind of in-depth conversation, and so I'm really excited. He worked, I think, with P-Funk too, and he has a huge kind of resume. And so I'm excited next week, right here. Well, I'll be back in New York at the time, at the same time, and it'll be at 8 o'clock the following Tuesday. So there you go. And Johnny's back.
Okay, yo. So yeah, it's called Phonograph Conversations. And the history of the first recording sound. Okay. And I did a soundtrack for that, and it's got Peter Jennings. I mean, levels of talent. And I forgot it, man. The producer, Nick Vegas.
Congratulations, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it traveled, it did festivals. We just, like you and I, man. The main thing is trying to breathe in and breathe out and keep working. And I'm just real proud of you, and I love the time I got with you and how fly you capitalize on fly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Coming from you, that's huge.
yeah, you capitalize on that fly shit.
Well, big kisses to you, and
hey, yo,
I'm gonna see you when I get back to New York in a few days. I'm gonna call you, and we're gonna make a play date, and we're gonna get together, and we're going to continue this conversation. And I want you to know something. And beyond this, anytime you want to talk about anything, any new project, any new music, you're always welcome. You have a home right here to talk about anything and everything that you are doing.
Hey, yo, I ain't had a home in a while except 11th Street. So any home I can get, you're a wonderful, wonderful girl, and I got real love. You got me in my ascot, I'm not bringing out ascots every day.
Likewise. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Hey, thank you, Big
kisses.
And Louis Armstrong is thanking you too. That's Louis Armstrong right here.
Well, there he is, right up there. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so peep that, man. We got love. It's
I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead. What?
I said, man, always the soul follows us.
Yes, it does. Our ancestors.
Soul lives.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for chiming in tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here with me and Johnny Edwards. And I want to thank Sophia also for being in the back today and helping out with everything.
Hey, the Queen Sophia.
It really does take a village. And so, I appreciate my village. I'm grateful. So thank you all. And I'll see you I can't speak.
All right.
So
I love you, man. All right.
Thank you all for everything.
Peace
see
out.
you next week. Right here.
Big G. Bye. Thank you. I love your show. I had a great time. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.